Hello there and welcome to my video on how to paint this watercolour portrait of a very angry man. It's a real-time video, it takes about 40 minutes. It's part of my challenge that I'm running at the moment called the 30 Faces 30 Days Challenge, and you can see the prompts there. There's a number of photographic prompts on my Facebook page as well if you're interested, and I'll put the details in the video description. For this portrait I'm using Daniel Smith's neutral tint, St Cuthbert's Mill Bockingford paper, and a number of brushes. There's three of my favourite brushes which you'll see as I go through. Okay, this is going to be a challenge because so much of his face is in the dark. So this is day 4 of my 30 Faces 30 Day Challenge. Oh, where to start with this one? I think I'm going to start with his head, just because I want to make sure that all of his head is in, even though not all of his head is in the photo. It's rounder than that. So yeah, start off with that. I've got this Derwent water soluble light wash graphite pencil, which I have recently just rediscovered. I'm going to do this one in watercolour. Make sure that's it. Goes out and then in, and his ear starts about here. That's his. No, sorry, it starts lower than that. It's almost horizontal, but a bit further up than his eyebrow. So I'm looking at, this is my sort of observational technique. I'll be putting a video up on Skillshare in the near future of how to sort of really use this observational technique and the things to look out for and check for. And once you get experienced at it, you can draw anything without too many problems, because it's the same technique that you sort of use for everything. Right, okay. And then we've just got a lot of darkness here. This comes out like that, almost to where the corner of his eye is. This comes up like that, and then he's got a bit like that. His face comes down like this. And the bottom of his ear is just above his, sort of in parallel and horizontal for that bottom nostril. Actually, his face, the whole head comes at sort of quite an angle. And then he's just shading down here. Now, usually with watercolour, you don't really want to go too much with the pencil, because you can't rub it out once it's wet. Look at the shape of this blackness in his mouth. He's got a little bit of a lip. Directly under here is one tooth that finishes just a bit lower down than this corner of his mouth. Okay, so a bit like that. You just don't outline teeth too much, eh? Outlined teeth do not look good. This sort of canine tooth is just pretty much vertical from that side of his nose. It's got more teeth there and the black. I just keep looking at the black, not just the teeth themselves. Yeah, so with the pencil, it does not, if you're going to be colouring things in black anyway, like making sure they're dark, it's not a problem to use your pencil. Like, I think I've made my man too. I'm going to try and use a rubber. Where's my rubber? So it's a good idea to use a kneadable rubber. Let's see if it works here. It's a good idea to use a kneadable rubber. I want to make him a bit fatter. Let's rub that bit out too. So I think he's more like this way, because that shadow goes down here and creates a bit of a, can you see a sort of a triangular shape like that? He's got his tash, or his beard comes down like that, and there's a little bit of a white bit here, and then it goes round and goes almost up to his lip, and then here. I still feel like I've made him quite slim. Like his, I think it starts going out here, the beard. Let's give him his ears back. So it's quite close to the head here. Goes down, follows the head, comes out a little bit here by his nose. I'm going to make his head a little bit shorter. So that carries on. The widest bit is about here, and then it starts curling round. It's really quite difficult to get his head in the right place, but I'm happier with that. And then his neck comes out about here. His teeth, he's got teeth still there here. You really can't see these details here, because this is all dark. So this is going to be really interesting to do with watercolours. I don't think I've done such a challenging portrait in watercolours before. I'm just going to put this light on so that you can see properly. Let's see. There. Let's see if that's better. Yeah, okay. Right. For this, I'm going to be using one of my favourite colours called Neutral Tint, which is here. I've just squeezed a little blob out onto my White Nights palette. I often use White Nights. And, you know, I might mix it up with different colours as well. I'll see how I get on, but might mix it up with, I don't know, something, maybe a purple or a blue or something. I'll see how I get on. Meanwhile, I was just going to mix up a sort of a colour like that. Now it's so hot at the moment, so humid, that as soon as I put anything on this paper, it basically dries. It makes it very difficult to do any painting at the moment, and the commissions I've been doing have been particularly challenging. So just doing a little bit of a light wash over the areas that I can see are light. And like I say, I could dob in a bit of colour. What should we do? A bit of, I mean, it's probably a bit too much, isn't it? I've got a little bit of paper to hand. I'll sort of dot some of that colour around so it doesn't look too strange. Now I've added a little bit of it. And I'm going to go really heavy on this side. Just start bringing it over onto this shadow area. If anyone can hear any crazy noises, that's my dog. Okay, the side of this face isn't right, but then, you know, I can't really see it very well, so I'm just going to keep going, I think, darker. Now it's wet, I might use a less absorbent brush so I can apply more colour. It's got hair on it. This less absorbent brush is Rowney Graduate number 10. I work quite wetly. Just applying the big areas of contrast. Oh hey, maybe I'll add some of that turquoise whilst I think about it. And whilst I'm here, I'm going to pick up the colour on this side of his nose because it's quite white. And it goes up like that. Oh, sorry. I've hurt myself. Walking the dog earlier, I messed up my my leg. The lead is Molly, the dog, pulled the lead under my leg, so I've got a scar from the lead. Okay, let's carry on with this around here, just applying the dark darks where there are darks. And I mean, he's got a lot of darks around his eye here. Now there are quite hard lines around here, which I don't think it's dry. Oh yeah, no, it's dry enough to get a hard line. That's good. So I want a hard line underneath like I've got right now, and softer lines around here. So I've got a clean damp brush and I'm just sort of dabbing at it. I want a soft line there as well, so I'm going to dab that one. Gonna add, right now, where's my favourite brush? I think I'd be more prepared for the, oh right, here we go. My favourite brush is called the Rowney Graduate 1/4 inch brush. And with this one, I'm just gonna add in a little bit more contrast here. And I'm gonna use that to create some of his nose wrinkles. And now that's probably dry, I'm going to just do that cheek area. Soften that up. And now those bits are dry a little bit. I might catch it whilst it's not too dry and just sort of do that. So still got a bit of a hard line, but not lots. And there's another line that goes down here and forms his cheek. It's a bit of a hard line here, but not too. I'm just going to soften it a little bit. And this is a softer line here. This is a softer line. See, I'm not too worried about it looking a little bit patchy. That's my style, really. I'm going to go under the nose. Oh yeah, every now and then when I come down here I think, oh right, I'll try and use that little bit of turquoise just to give it a little bit of different colour. And then it goes dark again all over that side, so I'm going to leave that for the time being. Over here we've got, I want to go really dark where his mouth was, or is, sort of say was because I can't really see it. It's almost like the darkest bit of the painting, so like because it's still wet here, it's like blending out a bit, which I did not necessarily want it to do, but I'm not too fussed, to be honest. So yeah, looking at the shapes of the black shape really, rather than anything else. He's got that lip area here, and it sort of goes down. And hey, whilst I'm here, I'm going to just mop up a little bit of that where it's bled. So that's with a clean, damp brush. That goes down here still when it's dark. Right, I'm going to use some of the sort of this grey colour to just indicate where the teeth are. Didn't want to really go to, in fact, I'm going to try and get rid of that. If you make a mistake in watercolour, sometimes you can fix it by picking up, like using your clean damp brush, but then other times you can't do that because you could have a staining colour. Staining colours are a right pain if you want to be picking up colour. I'm just going to jump back here because that's lightened out significantly. And this is the thing with watercolours, that they dry very light, so you have to always think, you know, bear that in mind and keep revisiting. Where did my bigger brush go again now? You have to be kind of on the ball as well, because if you wait for a second, you'll start getting a hard edge like that. It's a hard edge that I didn't really want, because I couldn't find my paintbrush. You know, in the winter it's never a problem because your paints stay wet for ages. Oh, there's my paintbrush. I think I'm just going to hold them all in my hand for the time being. That's going to just darken that up again. It's got quite soften that line before it dries. Shall we do his eye? Let's do his eye. So I'm using the point of my sword brush now. A mistake that a lot of beginners make is to leave the whites of the eye white. They're not white. They're not white. It's got a lovely glimmer in his eye there. And let's try and darken some of that eye down. I think I've made my man look absolutely crazy, not just angry, but just he's clearly incensed, like a madman. Right, it comes down here. I'm just going to sort of try and follow the direction of the hairs. I'm going to just do the eye is actually quite more curved than I've got it. I mean, these photos are just for inspiration. It doesn't matter whether they're like spot on or not, by any means. Let's do under his nose a bit, because it is quite a bit dark under his nose. I'm going to use the side of my brush to sort of try and get a little bit of like hairy shapes. I wonder, you can also, there are things like fan brushes. I wonder if I've got any of those to hand. I haven't got a fan brush to hand. But I wonder, like a toothbrush could work. You can just try different textures if you're wanting to experiment. It's dark, it's lighter here, so I don't want to go too dark there. And then it gets darker the side of his mouth. And it almost sort of forms a bit of a handlebar tash here. Oh, shall I use some of that turquoise? Good thinking. Goes round like that. It's got a lip that comes around like that. It's actually quite difficult to see with this light on. And then it gets all dark again there, so I'll deal with that in a minute, that side. Meanwhile, it sort of comes down here and there, forms a bit of a triangle. And it's quite soft, so I'm going to soften up that line. Soften up that line. Let's do a bit of the ear. And then it's over here. Let's do a bit of the nose. He's got a bit of a bulbous nose with a bit of a shape there. And he's got a couple of wrinkles. I'm going to use my sword brush for the wrinkles. I think he looks disgusted. I can't work out what he's looking like. Wrinkles tend to be, it depends on how your wrinkles are, but they tend to be lighter at the top. Or like there's a bit that hits the light and then underneath there's a bit of shadow. So that's something to bear in mind when you're doing your wrinkles. Well, this side at least isn't looking too bad. I need to do shade his teeth there a bit. You know, I'm going to go quite dark now on this side again. This is such a hard portrait. I don't know why I chose this. Still, good to have a challenge, eh? So I'm using my really absorbent brush because it's got a lot of it stays wet, and you can sort of mess around a little bit more with the shading then. It's got a little bit more shading on the top of his head actually, and then it goes a bit lighter. Oh, shall I dob in a bit of, let's dob in a bit of turquoise, shall we? Just have a little bit of interesting, just, you know, just every now and then, like just somewhere, just to add a little bit of interest to our painting. It's got a really lovely like triangle bit there. I'm going to try and add that in a minute. His teeth still need shading in a bit here. Shall we give him bluey eyes? It might be too over the top. can we afford to go any darker? As is the way with a lot of these portraits, they've got reflected light, something. It's on this side, so you can sort of see vaguely, but not enough to be able to sort of do anything with. It's difficult. It's really challenging. This portrait is very challenging. I'm going to go around the outside, I think, with a really darkly now, with just trying to see where I think things would be, but it's so difficult. I don't usually recommend scrubbing with a brush, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's curve that one round. And turn this around to get this shape. Now it's not smooth actually down here. I remember because he's got his beard. So let me wonder what I can do about that. Let's think. Oh, it doesn't look too bad, but I could maybe be a bit blobby like that, maybe. Well, I almost feel like calling it a day. I mean, again, these portraits, it's only just sort of getting your hand in, and my objective was to practice new mediums and just different things. And this is, although watercolour is not a new medium for me, it is a new, I mean, I would never ever have picked this guy. Never have picked this guy. Maybe I shall give him a bit of a spritz of water just to see what effect that has. And I might, shall I add a daub or two of turquoise? It's down here just to see. Actually, I'm going to do a few dabs like that. I don't like this eye now. I think it looks a bit too tacky with that blue. Might just, I've got a bit of a eyebrow. I call this my eyebrow paintbrush because it's I chopped it down basically. So I made it really thin. I've made this. I need to have made this a little bit more curved. Just going to go a bit more dark again here. Just going to go quite blocky because, you know, That's the kind of person I am. Right, his lip comes down here, his lips here, and his beard comes up like that. Got a hairy chest that's coming up here. Curve that around. Oh, that's too much, too much, too much, Sue. Oh yeah, I'm going to do some sort of lines. That makes him look angry. It's got these sort of lines that sort of come up like that. I am in danger of overworking this portrait, so I think I might stop. Just a little sketch, just to practice this hugely challenging portrait. Oh look, I think I have overworked it. I preferred it before. Trying to get rid of that hard line. Well, I'm going to revisit it in a bit. Actually, no, I'm going to go back and try and make... Oh, what should I do? This needs to be darker. Up. That's my cat wrecking the carpet. Let's go again with this already all over. I'm going to do his teeth, because you can see his gums. A bit more dark there. More dark there. Oh, should I use a bit of turquoise? Good thinking, guys. Actually, it's the same darkness here that it is over there, so let's leave it like that. This is softer. And when it's a little bit more dry, I'm going to add a bit more detail on his nose wrinkles, I think. I'm just trying to pull off some colour. Actually, it would help if I had cleaner water, so I'm just going to get some cleaner water. I'll be back. Let's try and get this colour off a little bit more. Going to indicate some, I can see some sort of, yeah, I'll try and highlight a little bit just to indicate that there is something going on. I'm going to put some gouache there later, like add in yeah, add in the highlight of his eye. See, earlier I just applied too much there and it's sort of made it the wrong shape. Oh, whatever. Don't like this hard. Don't like this hard wrinkle either. Well, this is a really hard one. Just added a little bit of shading around his teeth. And he's got a bit of gum around here. Some people manage to pick up colour when it's wet. So, for example, I could scratch in and pick up colour. I've never been able to do that. If anyone else can, they should show me how. Anyway, I'm happy with that. I'm going to leave it now and call it a day. Thank you very much.